an technology integration company, or so where we started out at. And obviously with the market change, we tend to evolve like everybody else who tried to survive through the rough periods. But we started off as a technology company, mainly as a technology consultant, strong in the area of healthcare. A lot of my background came from doing technology, not only in healthcare, but also in the finance world. But my travels have brought me to where it made sense for me to start my own company from a consultancy standpoint, helping the SMB, which means the smaller to mid-sized businesses, with technology solutions. The biggest problem we find is that many of the smaller companies have a need similar to the larger companies. The problem is they don't have the budgets of the larger companies. As a result, they have to get more creative, and the definition of more creative is oftentimes cutting corners. You find a lot of consumer-based products in these worlds, or this market vertical. You find a tremendous amount of people who cater to this market, where they came from what I call the hobbyist and home owners type of, hey, I can do this at home, maybe I can make some side money type of scenario. What happens in the long run is many of the SMB customer base out there end up getting frustrated, disfranchised. They don't feel as though they get what they were promised.
Okay. Okay. So you came from a larger enterprise.
Correct.
Was that here in Tucson, or did you come from
Everything was based here in Tucson.
Okay.
I started off coming here from Hawaii back in '87.
Okay.
Graduated as a student of Hawaii Preparatory Academy. It's a private co-ed international boarding school. Got recruited by several colleges. We couldn't really afford any of the ones that I wanted to go to, but we did end up going to the University of Arizona, and I double majored in aerospace mechanical engineering and general business.
Okay.
My senior year, putting myself through college turning wrenches, because you can't obviously pay for college tuition flipping burgers. I ended up being introduced to a gentleman who worked for a subsidiary of, at that time, Citigroup. Long story short, I ended up working with their company over a period of 9 years, and during that time frame, not only was I doing IT work, I was really there to do financial work. And they just found out that I could do IT work. So I ended up supporting a lot of the local offices, branch offices, as a result of that, which is fine and stuff, you know. It was enjoyable, but realistically, I found that my passion and my niche really wasn't in a specific medium, whether it was finance or whether it was technology. I found out really early on in my adult life, my early adult life, I think my niche was I had a passion for solving problems for people. Somehow, I wanted to be in a vehicle, regardless of what it is, that somehow I could affect the quality of life to the better for the people that I was able to work with, whether they be other vendors, whether they be customers, whether they be friends and family. Unlike most of our competitors, and I think this is where we get our biggest edge, a lot of our competitors ask our customers, or ask their customers, whenever they're doing a major infrastructure change up or upgrade, that we're going to come in between 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, you need to shut your business down when we're doing this. We tend to try to come in Thursday night, and we'll go Thursday night, Friday, Friday night, Saturday, Saturday night, Sunday, Sunday night, and I'll adjust my team size accordingly. So whether it's half a dozen workstations to 30, whether it's a single server or a server farm, whether it's, you know, a new network and all of the pieces that go along with it, they normally don't have to worry about stopping production. And many of my customers being healthcare tend to have half days, or sometimes they'll have the Fridays completely shut down. So we'll come in, and the number one thing that they've always told me is we've never had a integrator like you ask us to not worry about, you know, having our patients rescheduled. And in most healthcare scenarios, patients might get scheduled a month out in advance, which means if you are a patient, would you ever want to go back to that office if it's rescheduled? So there's a huge difference. companies. And I do have some of my competitors get a little upset at that because their staff won't work those hours.